Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever on planet Earth you are dialing in to see this broadcast. This is the World Cup final match of the Men's Roller Derby World Cup 2016, live from Calgary, Alberta. I am Mac the Mouth, and here with me on the call,
Julia Sleazer.
Hey, Julia. So, what do we have in front of us? What do we have served up for this evening's final fare?
This final is going to be Team USA matching up against Team England, much like we saw 2 years ago in Birmingham at the first Men's World Cup 2014.
And not unlike the Women's World Cup in 2014, same outcomes are happening. That you can, the four strong teams expected to be those last four teams have proved us right.
Definitely.
So I didn't win my pool. I had Italy in the Final Four, so next time, guys. But excited to be down here today. The place is packed. Team USA just out on the track. We're watching them skate around. They're in white. Team England wearing red, just in case you're keeping score at home. So I had a chance to chat with the USA coach really quickly. Meow Mix. Actually, What's her actual coaching? Is that her actual coaching name? Okay.
She's under Coach Meow.
And Coach Rob from England. They're both talking about. I talked to them separately, but they both came to the same sort of responses about keeping on the track, keeping it calm, getting into their rhythm. Team USA has been building goals to this game. Team England wants to have a controlled game.
So did you have a chance to talk to Team England's coaches?
Yeah, and Coach Rob is looking for a slow hold game. They do not want to get into a chase with Team USA.
For some reason, I thought that you meant Coach Rob was with USA.
I'm sorry.
I thought it was short bus. So
we should have had a meeting
probably
first.
Right.
And in just a few seconds, we're going to switch over to our track announcers and pick up the national anthems, introductions, and all that good stuff. And then we're going to come back and entertain you with our verbal audacity.
So we're going to go ahead and throw to Champ Unkind.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's time for the 2016 Men's Roller Derby World Cup Championship. My name is Champ Unkind.
I am Captain Motorboater.
And we're here to bring you the best of the flat track action for the weekend. But before we get started, we have a very special message for Team England.
At this time of year, few sights evoke more feelings of cheer and goodwill than the witness Team England. Right around the world, people gather to compete under standard rules, and in most cases in a spirit of revenge and violence. England will degrade and ultimately defeat their opponents. The world has been warned.
Sponsored by
This is the 2016 USA Men's Roller Derby World Cup team.
Corey Ackles, blocker, Everett, Washington.
Nicholas Becker,
blocker, Appleton, Wisconsin.
TJ Binkley, blocker, Dallas, Texas.
Dylan Botts, blocker, Seattle, Washington.
Percy Control, blocker, St. Louis, Missouri. Kyle Divers, blocker, Denton, Texas.
Seahorses Forever, blocker, Des Moines, Iowa.
Godzilla OK, blocker, Seattle, Washington.
Magnum, jammer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Brian McAfee, blocker, St. Louis, Missouri.
Tony Muse, blocker, West Des Moines, Iowa.
Brian O'Neill, jammer, Dallas, Texas.
Jonathan R., jammer, New York City.
Lolo Mike, jammer, Bethlehem, Pennsylvania.
Kembo Slice, jammer, Brooklyn, New York.
Brennan Smith, jammer, Denton, Texas.
Christopher Smith, blocker, Jacksonville, Florida.
B. Stang, jammer, San Diego, California.
Jeremy Strecker, blocker, Jacksonville, Florida.
Michael Thornton, blocker, Des Moines, Iowa.
Malcolm Tran, blocker, New York City.
Jake Woodward, blocker, St. Louis, Missouri.
Luke Powell, coach, Kansas City, Missouri.
Stephanie Gentz, coach, Jacksonville, Florida.
Ladies and gentlemen, we now ask that you please rise and remove your hats for the anthem chosen by England.
Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing for the national anthem of the United States of America.
Welcome back trackside. Some pretty stirring national anthems. I think these teams are ready. I think we've played a lot of Derby.
Yes, I think they're so ready.
And we've witnessed a lot of Derby.
It's true.
And it's all culminated in this amazing moment here at World Cup 2016. Team USA on the left of your screen in white, and Team England on the right in red. Furthermore, we will just call them USA and England. We'll just drop the whole team thing. Ref crews are in place. Crowds have started chanting.
It's a matter of getting their teammates pumped up before they get out on the track for this first jam.
I'm going to go on a limb and say that Carter's our first jammer for Team USA, number 10.
We're also going to have Dylan Botts, Percy Control, blocking, along with number 4, TJ Binkley, and 2, 4, oh, sorry, that is Botts.
See Reaper out there with the star on his head in red for England. Already got the warning to start our first jam. This game is underway. The final of the World Cup 2016 is underway in Calgary.
Front of the pack being controlled by a 3-wall led by Dylan Botts and TJ Binkley. England's jammer trying to bust through the pack, trying to fight his way on the inside. Reaper is through. First lead jammer status goes to England.
It's a jammer race, though. Carter is out hot on his heels. The packs are moving. They're trying to get their points forward. England's got a set for the block. Knocks Carter out. Jammer spins through. We're looking for some points. Refs are conferring. Those 2 refs on your screen right now are confirming if any hips were passed. We might have at least a single point. Well, USA's has picked up a single point, and England's picked up a single point. It's neck and neck.
Definitely.
Wonder how long they can hold on to this 1-1 tie. Outstanding start. I can imagine the nerves and energy on the floor right now, and to control that.
Right. The first jam is any reflection of the future jams. It's going to be an incredibly energetic game. We do have a very thick pack and a lot going on. Track cut being called on USA's jammer. This is going to turn into a power jam for England.
England, number 17, Sully, trying to get out for that initial pass, gets knocked hard to the back and has to circle around. Again, he gets knocked out into the infield, has to come back one more time. As we're watching England on their roller derby athletic power jam here at the Nerd Arena for the final. Sully out of the pack now with Luton. He's got lead, but he got knocked out again at the front of the pack by Quadzilla. Just caught him on the hips.
He only has to come back in behind these 2 USA blockers and make his way through. Tough row to hoe when you're up against Woodward, though. He is called out to the box, leaving just McAfee on the track.
And that's Smith, got 28 in white, trying to fight his way through this English wall. And again, their plan was to keep it slow and keep it busy, and they look like they're doing it right now.
Definitely. Throwing around, USA's jammer going to take to the ground. He is through on his initial pass, will be coming in momentarily on his first scoring pass.
That's McAfee heading to the box, out of play. Several out of plays to Team USA right now. We'll wait for the dust to settle on the scoreboard. England 5, USA 1. Almost 3 minutes in. 4-point jam for Sully. One blocker in the penalty box for USA, so they have a short pack. Magnum on the jammer line, standing next to Blitzkrieg. And we've got an official timeout. I see Coach Rob for England. Coach Meow. And things have been reset, confirmed, and brought back onto the floor so we can get this underway. Magnum and Blitzkrieg waiting for that whistle.
The 3-wall of USA up front, a 3-wall of England with one floating blocker out there, starting right on that jammer line.
Nice knockout by Sutton Impact. High block call though, however. Power jam for Team USA. Power jam for the USA. I'll stop saying it really soon. Magnum, number 7 there at the back of the pack. You can see him on our screen right now. Still looking for his initial pass. Fights his way through the front, punches through that red wall and picks up lead for USA. Team England loses their pivot to the box as well. They're setting up that 3, but watch the offense from the US. They're going to keep them really busy and try and break these arms and walls up, and they have. And that's the speed of the USA game, but just gets chipped out. Nicely done on the outside. Number 7 from England, Tom Banks, taking care of action there.
Magnum is going to re-enter the track behind England's blockers. Buzz through and call it off. He did get all 5 points on that pass. Right now, USA at 6, England at 5.
And if this wasn't enough for you, why don't you host the next World Cup? Because we're looking for a city to host it. You can feel the energy through your screen. You should be in this room. And the financial impact to the area around, all the hotels are full, all the pubs are busy, all the restaurants are there. Please contact Men's Roller Derby, MRDA, about the next World Cup in 2016. 18, thank you.
Breaking up that pack, that is number 9. That's number 9.
That's Austin. Austin Elton for Team USA. Already has lead, already in scoring position. Gets pushed to the inside of the track, and a forearm being called on one of the blockers for England for that push. But Team England's managed to get their star out of the pack and very quickly back.
McAfee momentarily is facing off against Speck, trying to keep England busy as the Jammers come back in. That last pass accrued 4 points for USA, 1 point for England.
An incredible jump by Austin there at the end, a dodge a block, a spin and jump. And that's the one thing I've noticed this weekend is the amount of airborne time I'm seeing with these skaters on all the teams. But when you get to the last level of these teams, there's a lot, they make a lot of use of the ground above the track as well, not just not what the surface they're skating on.
Jonathan R. taking the jammer line for USA. He's off against Reaper, number 666 for England. Both of them jostling against opposing blockers. Jonathan R. hungry to get through, has to get past one last English blocker. Oh, it looks like Reaper is headed to the box on a forearm call, so this is a Roller Derby Athletics power jam in favor of USA.
Ill-timed. They really want to keep these. This is not the opportunity you want to give Team USA, who just picks up lead. Jonathan R. checks with his bench, gets a thumbs up. And if you watch when he skates, he checks with his bench every time he goes by. Coaches love that. Oh, what an apex jump. Jonathan right in front of us here. Sticks it. Picks up 5. Already on another lap here. And suddenly that USA speed's coming into play here. 2 Team England blockers are standing on the outside infield waiting to re-enter. Jonathan R. spins, pushes at the front. Reaper I see back on the track. Julia, do you see a Reaper coming around the back corner? Oh, not in time. It was out of my line of sight, but I saw Reaper enter the back of the pack but not get those points. 10-point jam for Jonathan R. USA taking advantage of power jams.
Definitely. So that puts USA at 20, England at 6. We've got just over 23 minutes left in this half. Already a really exciting game starting off.
Tan Carter stands on the jam line on his own. So we've got the, looks like Reaper back in the penalty box, missed something near the end of that jam. Carter punches his way through, just drops his shoulder and bowls over a red jersey. And as quick as I can say it, he's back in for points already. Trips over one of his own skaters, gets right back up on his feet, and now is shoving his way to the front of the pack. Out again, a quick 5-point grab. 20 seconds, 5 points on the board. Amazing speed being exhibited here, and this is what Team England didn't want to get into, was a chase, a run and gun sort of game. This is more like it. This is what they wanted. Slow and grind it out.
So back in the back, Team USA momentarily had a go. Now they've got Reaper back in play, knocking him out and recycling him back. This pack is getting pretty spread out, but it's going to be bridged when necessary. Clearly they are back in formation. That is McAfee knocking Reaper into the inside, also headed to the penalty box. I guess he makes an illegal contact there. Reaper is slow to come back in. He's got star in hand. I'm not sure if he's going to stash or try to pass it. Oh, it looks like he passed it, but his pivot dropped it almost immediately. So I'm not sure if he was worried about an illegal pass. potentially got it back in hand, but not in time to do anything. That was a 0-point jam for England. A 12-point jam for USA.
Oh, a 6-5 lead quickly evaporates when you've got 2 trips to the box with your jammer. That's, and you can see exactly what Coach Rob was sharing with me is they can't get into that fast game with Team USA. There's just too much horsepower on that bench.
Smith will be taking the line for USA, facing off against Sully from England.
Great knockout on Sully by number 3 there in red, Sutton Impact. But Sully's out. Some debris on the track there, looks like a knee pad, but we'll get that out of the way.
Yeah, it's the cap of a knee guard. Looks like that was Aklas's.
Star pass and a cut, unfortunately. Oh, sorry, Star's stash. And Sully stepped out, didn't realize his foot was over the line, came back in. Another power jam for Team USA. I'm sensing a timeout coming up soon if this pattern continues. Carter pounded the inside by Shrooms, who skates to the back and says, I'm over here. Come in behind me.
For England wanting to keep it so slow, it seems like they get into the pack and they really swarm around. Of course, they do stay relatively slow, but within the parameters of the pack, they're really bashing things up.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, credit to the skill of England, but also USA is very good at not allowing more than 2 English skaters to get together, like keeping them busy all the way around the track. And for the skaters and coaches watching out there, you want to see it at the optimum level. You're seeing it here today.
This is number 7, Magnum, on the line for USA. USA has a lead jammer. Zipping along the pack about at a standstill on turn 2. They do have 3 English blockers together. Quadzilla helping break up the defenses. Magnum through. 5 points on the board for USA.
Sully's back on the track. He stashes that star as he skates up. Could set up a pass. Could just use it for distraction. Create a little chaos in the pack. USA is not having any of it, but that 3 back there, that is a hard group to get around. Meanwhile, Magnum's up at the front, gets pushed back, and as I've seen several times this weekend, puts one hand down to steady himself and stands right back up, maintaining legal position. Magnum still zigzagging around. Sully leaps through the air, passes the front of the pack and gets out, but Magnum has lead, calls it off. Great pass though by Sully to get out of that pack.
Definitely. Something we saw there was USA's blockers really concentrated on England and leaving Magnum on his own to break up England's defenses.
Breaking things up as well. S1 makes high quality, well-designed and highly functional helmets and knee pads. That was not an S1 part on the track earlier because they're that good. Trusted by the pros, S1helmets.com. We're back at the action here. It's number 5 in red for England. That's Fish. Austin wearing 9 in white. Team USA, a low block called on the pivot for Team USA. Head straight to the penalty box.
Lead jammer for England. He's zipping around the track. The pack is going absolutely wild. England's blockers are going to get to the back, forming up and getting ready to catch USA's jammer as he comes in.
An excellent cut. Technical cut done by, I believe it was McAfee. It was an 06 story. D-Bots. D-Bots had a tactical, well-performed cut there to pull the jammer off, and another power jam for Team USA. I've got a skater down though, so it's going to stop.
It was number 9, Austin from USA, so hopefully back up soon in the meantime.
We're going to be testing 3 helmets today. This simulates a 10-mile-an-hour impact or a 4-foot drop. The S1 Lifer helmet with EPS Fusion foam did pass the multiple impact test.
Welcome back to trackside here. We still have a timeout for an injury. Skater is rolled over, EMTs are attending, and again, they're taking all the precautions. We don't want to move anybody until they make sure the person's safe to move. And just as I say that, he's up on his skates. And you can hear the round of applause as he makes his way. Which skater was that?
That was number 9.
Number 9. Austin from Team USA. He's just flexing out his knee a bit. I've heard a lot of skaters talk about stingers. It happens in ice hockey when you get hit in a spot where there's no padding. Well, it's so hot in here. You have a knee pad or elbow pad move a 1/4 inch. It's suddenly your knee hitting that cement floor.
Yeah. Yep.
I heard that hurts.
It does. I've done it. It's probably what I would consider the worst thing ever.
And it's just like blinding. It just shuts you down. It totally does. I completely understand. I always feel awful when it happens. It hasn't happened to me.
Especially on polished concrete.
Yeah, this is like Canadian roller derby ice, polished concrete. This is all we play on.
So we're going to continue to keep this official time out.
So USA, right out of the gate, Team England had 2 leads, and then USA came back with 6 leads in a row, and just last jam, England got back on the board with a lead themselves. And they needed that. They throw some points up, you know, break the game into chunks. So we're almost through the first quarter. I like to look at the game as quarters. So at the 15-minute mark, how do we do the first quarter? This is not an insurmountable gap. In fact, I think this is closer than Australian England were at this point. Or sorry, Australian USA were at this point, 17 minutes in. By the way, how hot is it in here? I saw a thermometer on the wall over the other side, 37 degrees Celsius. We're going to put that in the 90s with about 100% humidity.
I was going to say, don't look at me for a conversion, sir. I think somebody told me to double it and then add 30, but
that's close.
Yeah?
Yeah, it doesn't work after a while, but that's close enough. So you double it, you get like 127 divided by 3, carry the 9. Yeah, it's warm.
Yeah.
It's really, really warm in here.
It's hot. And it's become pretty humid in here.
Yeah. Great crowd out here too as well. There's a giant England mosh pit in the VIP area that has not stopped moving since this game started. And there's a big American contingency on the opposite side of the 2 corners. So there's a group in corner 1 and a group in corner 2. And they're making their presence known, as well as probably skaters and fans from over the world that are in the house, and everybody out there that's joined us online here. Hope you're enjoying this feed on the Nerd Track here at Men's Roller Derby World Cup 2016.
We are just a few seconds away from starting off this jam. That is going to be number 6, Jonathan R, taking the line for USA. He's got lead jammer status. He's coming in the pack. The pack is kind of spread out, moving around between 1 and 2. Zings on the outside encounters number 900 Giggity from England. Gets past with great ease. 5 more points on the board for USA.
One of the blockers rejoined the pack from Team England. Still waiting for their jammer to return to the floor. Unless he's out with a stash. Actually, he probably is out with a stash, pardon me. That's been a standard tactic we've seen a lot this weekend, and it fools the announcers too, because they're all wearing white helmets. But you can tell by the work being done at the front who has the star in his hand. Well recognized by the U.S. blockers. Jay Woodward doing a good job, but he's out and about. That was Fish getting out of there, and that just signals a call off from Team USA holding control on that jam.
11-point jam for USA brings them up to 60. England still sitting at 9.
Greetings from Finland. Your feet called. They need a hug. You want to hug your feet?
All right.
Everyone, hug your feet right now. Best regards, Wico Skates. Foot hugging. 10 Carter standing at the line with 666 Reaper. 2 of them have a little chat. Waiting for that is the whistle.
Yeah, game is on.
Go ahead, guys.
USA's got a 3-wall up front. England's got a 3-wall right in front of those jammers. Tony Muse comes back, hopefully to help Carter through the pack. Looks like Carter does a good job on his own. He gets hung up.
Blocking with the head call on Carter, sends him to the penalty box. He just got too low and pushed through that pack with his head.
It's a precarious position to be in.
Yeah, it's just an unlucky call, really. Reaper, though, has a chance to get out of that pack, and he does with lead. Grabs lead, and that probably has about 20 seconds here before Carter's back on the track to take advantage of that lead. A U.S. blocker heading to the box, so there's a small pack out there. Only a 2-wall to beat, and he beats it for 5. 5 big points on the board for Team England.
So he gets it back again. We are stopped yet again on the track. He's got McAfee and Tony Muse to contend with. He gets knocked out to the outside, goes ahead and calls it. That was 5 points, a 10-point jam for England, bringing them up to 19.
Just single-handedly doubled their score there, bringing it up to 19. Suddenly, it's only a 41-point game. And this far into this game, I Not that I didn't see this, but I loved how England's getting the part they wanted the game of keeping it low and close. This is low and close. Team USA does not want 60 points 15 minutes in the first half of this game.
Definitely.
They want more. Sully 17 and B. Smith 28 at the line.
Both teams working to break up each other's defenses, clearly trying to get their blockers through. Smith is busting through on his own, it looks like. He takes to the outside. Looks like he makes a clean break. Lead jammer, USA.
A power Smith has when he hits those walls, and what a jump by Sully. Airborne time for Sully, who quickly gets back to the pack. I see Quadzilla hitting the penalty box. Through for points, he got them all. 4 points for England.
Left that lane on the inside open, and he just took through it.
Couldn't have timed that better with Quad heading off. The pack got small.
Right.
Maybe that was his zone because that 3 pack was working.
Right.
And he came through and took it. Good observation. And at that speed, just to see that subtle change in the track,
Right.
it's amazing skill set. 4 points there for England. 23-61. Just under 14 minutes remaining in the first half.
Magnum on the line for USA. Blitzkrieg for England. With him trying to find purchase through that pack. Blitzkrieg up front, it looks like, ooh, but taking onto the inside. Magnum gets through, lead jammer status to USA.
Blockers heading to the box for Team USA. 2 in the box right now, which gives some opportunity. We got a star pass to the pivot. No pass, no call, so he's able to skate forward and not run into the back. That gets that star out. Forces a call off. You can see the jammer standing by, number 7 there, waiting to call it off. And there it is, Tom Banks using time.
I think there was a little bit of confusion. Magnum thought he was being called off. He kept pointing to himself until his jammer ref continued to signal the call, and then finally pointed back at him, and then he realized, yeah, it's not on me.
And we have a team timeout. We got a team timeout on the track here. We're going to be right back after this message from our sponsors. Back at the track here, England 23, USA 64. It's only, let me carry the 9s. 41-point difference between the two teams. You do the math from now on.
No.
Everyone at home do the math.
Yeah.
I think we'll say good early morning to our friends in the UK that are watching this, as well as all over the United States. And the interesting thing about some of this is our viewership. The biggest viewership that we've had for this has come out of Mexico. And we've broken records from the previous men's World Cup of viewership. In fact, I think we exceeded the highest volume on Thursday, the first day of this tournament. Wow. And it's amazing. Like, and the global viewpoint here, hi world, the global viewpoint here. Everyone's checking in on this, and why not? The action's been incredible. Referees are gathered in the middle, having a chitty chat, a chin wag, a confab.
A confab.
The meeting of the minds. Just getting things set. Penalty box has, we got matched up packs. We got micro packs for the jammers. Jonathan Arda, first one to make impact. Oh, number 5 for England. Fish just drives his shoulder to try to create some space. Didn't work. It's knocked out by Woodward. He's not going to move that easily, but what an impact.
Woodward and Quadzilla trying to come up and get Speck out of the way. This is going to turn into the Roller Derby Athletics Power Jam in favor of Team England, who also have lead jammer.
That was a low block on that play. As Fish is now in the pack, in position to capture points, and he is as we speak. Every hip he passes, picking up a point, but now he's got that 2-wall at the front of the top of the apex, right near our position here. Coming out of the straightaway. Those are points on the board for England. A big 5 up there. The lead narrows. You can see Team England blockers in the back, 3 white blockers in the front. They throw some offense to break those lines up. Skating forward, we've got Fish still trying to get through. He's going to try to get them to the out-of-play area. And gets another 5 points.
Ilbely, who was trying to break up the defenses for his jammer, did get sent to the box. That's going to take them down just a bit. So they still just have 3 on the track. Lastly, facing off against Binkley, and he is through another 5 big points for England.
I don't know what Binkley's call was, but he didn't like it, and he went right to the box, though, as he should. But a great job by Fish here, physically just pounding through these 2 walls to the front, dragging them out of play. Another 5 points on the board, 20 points. That jam just was the highest scoring jam in the game. And it happens to have fallen England's side. We have a 21-point game all of a sudden. 64 USA, 42 England, 11 minutes remaining. Oh, 19-point jam.
It changed
No,
right after you said it.
I know. The great thing about this is everyone on the planet can see I'm wrong before I realize I'm wrong. So feel free, everyone. Say I'm wrong. Thank you.
You're wrong.
Thank you.
It's all right, though.
We got an official timeout. I see some shoulders being touched. So while we're officially timing out, we should thank some people.
Tell you about Bruise Skate News. They are the original over-the-shoulder roller skate holder. You spend a lot of money on those skates. Don't shove them in a bag full of sweaty gear. Your skates hate that. Keep your skates aired out and show them off with Bruise Skate News. Find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or online at bruisedsn.com.
England with only 5 leads in this game, yet scoring a lot of points as we get this next jam underway. Jam number 15 is underway.
Got 2 USA blockers up front, joined with 1 out of the box. It's Tony Muse and Percy Control. Now joined by Bots. There's going to be lead jammer status for Reaper from England. Hot on his heels. That is, read the number wrong. Carter.
But I believe we got some points there on Team England's side of the board. They picked up 2 more. And suddenly, Team England chips and chips and chips. And we love chips. I mean, I like them too.
I like fries. I don't know what's up with you people.
That's Smith and Sully on the line. At the back of those, that wall of white and red that you see on your screen, behind them are some jammers, and they can try and get through that. That's not my job. There they are.
They do exist. It's Schrodinger's jammer right now.
Sully's got to watch that tape. He's being pushed right along the side of it. Still trying to make his way out front. He's the closest jammer to it. Team England picks up lead again. Sully back-to-back leads. He's the one that put down that 19-point jam, so England's happy to have him out there. Big hit at the front of the pack. 900. That was Giggity slowing down. Who was it? Smith at the front there. Who's trying, can't even get up right now because he's right on that tape. Keeping a hand out. They're going to push him out of that edge. They can't. High block called on a Team USA skater.
There's Woodward.
Fish keeps his balance. Got some points, I believe, because he stayed in bounds and he passed some hips, but now he's got to go back to the back of the pack again.
Smith is just having a heck of a time up front. He keeps getting low. It's causing him to fall, getting up, only to find himself face off against Jerry Atrick, who's got a shoulder for him. In the meantime, 5 more points picked up by Sully for England. Smith is now free and clear of the pack. He'll be coming up on his first scoring pass.
Sully goes for a bump and a run and calls it off. Jess gets his feet over the tape, but he should have got all those points as well, too. Another 4 points, a 9-point jam for Scully. He's put 30 on the board for England in his last 2 jams. That's an 11-point game, ladies and gentlemen. Team USA 64, England 53. Team USA has not scored a point in the last 5 jams. 5 scoreless jams. So I'm gonna go check the record books. I'll get my minions over here to go check the record books because he doesn't have a microphone. Outstanding. Magnum, and that's 101 in red, is Blitzkrieg. Trying to make their way out, both bumped out.
Magnum is going to come through first. Lead jammer status goes to USA. We've got a fairly fast pack moving around turn 2, approaching turn 3. USA up front, keeping back 101, who has currently stashed the star. He could potentially pass it off. It does look like he has passed it off to number 100, Alien Al.
That was a very tactical pass. He held it low, the pivot got behind him, Giggity. He held it over his left hip, faked the original pass, and then got it again as he went by the outside. That's right, Alien Al's parents appreciate the fact
I missaw.
But Alien Al's mom and dad are like clapping right now, so we made people happy. And trust, she's been with me all day today on the mistakes I made, so. There's people out there listening and are nodding, going, oh yeah. This guy again. Fish number 5.
Jonathan R.
USA in white, England in red. If you're just joining us, look at that score if you're just joining us, because you know it's as exciting in here in this room as you're seeing on that scoreboard at the bottom. 68-53, a 15-point game. The stalled packs are sitting in the top of turn 1. Fish pushing hard. Jonathan R. still at the back, contending with one blocker. Several blockers now. They've set up a good wall back there, doing a great work at the back. And Fish pushing, just physically to push this U.S. wall. Now they have to bridge. He's picked up lead. He's good to go because a penalty was called in front of that pack. Fish has lead again for Team England. Subsequent leads and points here for Team England. We got a star stash. We got a star pass. Quadzilla, the pivot from Team USA, has picked up that star. Big hit at the back of the pack. Fish skates out and takes his points. I'm going to wait for it. Give us a drum roll. 3 big points on the board for Team England. It's a 12-point game. Team USA has been down to 4. They've scored 8 points in probably the last 9 jams. Like less than a point a jam in the last 9 jams for Team USA. Team England, unbelievable play and blocking today.
Definitely. I am amazed. This isn't quite what I expected, but this is a beautiful game to be watching, so I'm totally fine with it. Carry on, everyone. Carter out there for USA. Reaper for England. Got that kind of swarming pack going. Carter almost there. Number 3 from England. Sudden impact. Knocks him out to the outside. It's going to be Reaper that gets through first. Lead jammer status goes to England. Meantime, Carter leaps over the apex. He has thrown his initial, and he will be entering on his first scoring pass.
Meanwhile, we're picking up points at the front of the pack here. Oh, a huge hit in the corner. Calls off the jam. Just going to stay there for a second because that cold cement feels really good when you're that warm. Skaters skate over to check on the jammer, make sure he's all right, and he is, because he's going to take 2 points back to the bench with him. And England continues to score every single jam for what, the last bunch of jams.
Many jams,
yeah,
some number of jams.
Incredible, exciting, exciting game.
Right now, a 10-point spread Matthew and I can do.
Magnum, number 7, already in the second level at the 3 wall. There's a blocker in the box for Team England. Magnum's pushing and shoving and pushing and cutting his way through. He's already got lead. He's out of the pack with lead. Team USA's first lead in a while, and they could use it. Nail some points on the board. Oh, almost made that jump and got knocked out on his hips. And got a cut for his trouble because he got up on his skates. And it wasn't the player that knocked him out. It was another player on the track that was in bounds when he stood up.
Wow, Magnum just zinging by. Pick up another 5 points for USA. Currently a 10-point jam. So he re-enters the pack. Facing up against Jerry Adrick. Speck up front. His own blockers helping him through last bit. 5 more points, and he's going to call it a 15-point jam for USA. Bringing them up to 83. England currently at 58.
Holy smokes.
Just under 4 minutes left in this half.
I'm gonna need a cigarette after this. I don't smoke.
Right.
And I'll promise to announce in the morning too. I can't believe this game, an amazing game here today. I was watching, everyone keep an eye on the way USA throws offense at these tripods because they go for arms. They don't go for the brace, which a lot of teams practice doing. They go for those arms to force those arms to drop and immediately breaks up that package.
It totally
Great
does.
tactic.
Lead jammer status once again to USA. That is number 10, Carter.
Sully back on the track, but he stashed that star. He's not fooling that front wall. Oh, he gets knocked out on the side. Nice knockout as well by, that was Sutton. No, that wasn't Sutton, pardon me. That was Tony Muse. And a great hip check on the outside.
Story, Tony Muse beating him up front with Jake Woodward. It's going to be Muse last attempt to keep him back. He's through on his initial, approaching the pack on his first scoring pass. In the meantime, Carter is coming through the pack, looking around, calling it off. A 9-point jam for USA, a 0-point jam for England.
Carter in that pack lifts his hands up, and you can literally see all the blockers freeze for a heartbeat, and then races through to pick up the rest of the points and calls it off. It's such a subtle tactic, but you can't do it all the time. But that was like textbook. Someone show that again, because he looked at his bench for no reason, put his hands up, and was going to call it, and there was a 1-second beat of a freeze, and that's the strategy and tactics that make the difference in games like this.
trying to take that inside line. Didn't quite work out for him. He's going to be facing off against 3 and then 2 up front. Spectral is going to be sent to the box. Geriatric leading this 2-man post. Quadzilla coming in and breaking up. Again, you pointed out, they're going for the arms, otherwise you accrue a multiplayer block. Jonathan Are giving the thumbs up to us as he goes by, lead jammer to USA, and it's going to turn into a
power jam. We planned that to say it together. Roller derby athletic power jam for Team USA. On the nerd track here. Jonathan comes out of that pack, glances up quickly, calls it off immediately. Gives a big wave to the U.S. fans, letting them know they're out there. There's a lot of U.S. fans in the audience tonight, a lot of fans for England in the audience tonight. 97-58, USA leads. We've got a minute and a half in the first half.
And we have a roller derby athletics power start.
Oh.
This fish is currently frozen in the box.
Still sitting, so
10+ seconds.
I'm going to go that far. I'm going to say I can concur with your math and analytics.
Very good, yeah.
Magnum number 7, the pack picks up speed. Not what England wants to have is speed, because here come the blockers to take that wall apart, and they do. Magnum, right out of there very quickly, like in about 10-12 seconds, they had lead with a fast-moving pack. England wants to lock it down. Nice work by Aklis at the front, though, trying to keep them from setting. And again, more offense, breaks that red wall up. There's been a star stash. As Fish or Sully, is that Sully or Fish that's come out of the back? Fish is back on the track, but he's got it stashed. Again, not fooling the U.S. wall that's got him held up.
Boss is really working to keep that middle ground. See, he's not challenging the arms, as you pointed out. He's challenging Boss's back, and that's not how you break up these 3 walls.
Not these walls.
Not these ones.
Not these walls. These are unbelievable.
Jake Woodward up front takes Fish out to the outside. He's going to have to recycle back.
See a back block call, just seeing who's coming by. There's only one of the blockers for Team England. Number 76.
Hillbilly.
Pack is stalled here in the turn. Star stashed again. Fish has passed it actually to her pivot. And number 2 for England, that's Shrooms with the star in his hand. But never mind, Magnum's already gone through and grabbed some more points. And a bunch of very big response jams to end this half by Team USA. When it was a less than single-digit lead, is now a 110-58 game. 110-58, I would not, if we'd written down secret scores before the half started, this is not the secret score I would have written down. This is outstanding derby. And this is the most I've seen U.S. jammers have to get up off the floor in any game so far this weekend.
It's been extraordinarily exciting. As I said before, this wasn't quite the game I expected to see, but I'm excited to see it. Excited to see how England both teams have had plenty of time over the weekend to watch each other.
Yep.
And so they clearly have been talking about strategies to work against each other. And I think that is also reflected in the score.
Very much so. And I think Team England's strategic stance of keep it slow and not chase. You can see as soon as someone hits the gas pedal, the points start loading up on the white side of the board. But when they held it for they held the USA to 8 points for almost 10 jams.
Right.
That's unbelievable.
It was a good job at that. However, you'll notice when USA has control of the pack speed, that's when we're going to see the fast pack.
Yeah.
That's something we've seen repeatedly.
There's so much speed and talent on that team. They could just dial it up and turn on the switch. And as these skaters are switching benches, I know I am like a puddle sitting here. I can't even physically imagine, with all that gear on and the energy that they're expending out there, what it's like on that floor in this heat right now too.
Feeling pretty bad for you, because as a lady, I do not sweat.
Oh, interesting. That's right. I forgot about that.
I see that you're shining, and I'm good to go.
Fun factoid, people. Ladies don't sweat.
Everybody else knows that, Mac.
Well, I'm sweating for all of us, by the way. I'm just telling you, because it's that warm in here.
Oh, great.
And I'm not wearing pants. Actually, none of us are wearing pants. Just want to let you know that on the feed. All over the world, because it is hot in here. Calgary is beautiful, by the way. It's a gorgeous day out today. I actually got a chance this morning to zip around a little bit, got to a high point, and sort of because the Rocky Mountains were laid out there. You need to come and visit Calgary. If this is a place you've always had on the list, come to Calgary. It's a really cool town. And now we're going to go to our studio announcers. Over to you, Bob.
Welcome back to the Sisu Studio live at halftime during the final of the Men's Roller Derby World Cup. My name is Pandan.
And I'm Bob Noxious.
Well, what a game we've got on the track now. USA with 110 points, England on 58. An incredibly well-fought game so far from both of our teams here. We know, and as we've seen throughout the competition so far, this still could go either way.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. It's been a game of streaks. It seems like USA has put up 30 or 40 without much from England coming back. Then England all of a sudden goes on a big tear mid part of that first period, and USA finishes strong, and that's what put us where we're at right now. But at one point we were within about 5 or 6 point difference.
Absolutely, such an incredible game so far. I'm almost lost for words. Everybody tuning in at home, thank you so much for joining us. We couldn't do this without you. We will be back with the track shortly. I mean, we've got 11 minutes just to before we go back to the track. Probably a little bit less than that actually. But we saw Team Canada taking on Australia, the Wizards of Oz, before this game, and again an incredibly well fought game for both of the teams, and Team Australia coming out on top. So thoughts of the second half?
You know, I really don't. It's funny because watching this game, you try to analyze it, and it's really been just a game to me where each team has capitalized on the other one's mistakes. Mm-hmm. It's the discipline is generally very good for both teams, but when it hasn't been, or there's been a jammer penalty, all of a sudden the fangs come out and the other team attacks. And but fundamentally, there's really not any pattern to how the scores ebb and flowed.
Oh, I think you're right there. I mean, like we said before, it's pretty much half and half for the game. England around about the halfway mark to USA's score. Still, we could see an incredible second game if England pull it back. It's going to be close, and I think either way, all the fans here are going to be cheering their butts off.
You think?
As usual.
We might be deaf by the time this thing is done.
You can't even stand in here without earplugs in. It is crazy loud. Okay, before we go back to the track, to our announcers trackside, anything else that you want to say, Bob, before we head off?
No, I just want to see the second half.
We're excited. Thanks for sticking around and watching the final of the Men's Roller Derby World Cup 2016. Team England versus Team USA Men's Roller Derby.
Nerd Roller Skates is your dedicated quad roller skate shop in Calgary, Alberta.
Being a nerd is about being really excited and really passionate about a really specific thing. And the thing that we are really excited and passionate about is roller skates.
Nerd Roller Skates.
Official skate shop, Men's Roller Derby World Cup 2016.
For people who roll.
I am your fortress on the front line of sport. Engineered to be stronger than the attack. I defy convention by protecting more with less. Helping you breathe easier, hydrate faster, speak more clearly. I am Sisu, and I fend for you.
Welcome back here. Crowds cheering as we've got some of the skaters from some of the international teams here giving away some merch. And all these teams came with a lot of merch here too.
Yeah, they sure did.
It was merchy.
It was
Raining merch.
I have a lot of new stuff. That's all I'm gonna say. I don't know how I'm gonna get it all home, but it's gonna work out.
We're watching the Team USA skaters skate by our camera position here. You can see them on your screen. So Team England, this is not the same Team England for the last World Cup. What do you think they've added to their arsenal?
Definitely not the same Team England as we saw in 2014. Now, we do have some of the same skaters, but they've had opportunities to travel internationally and get to some of the bigger MRDA events. You'll recognize some of these skaters from MRDA championships with Southern Discomfort. Also, some of these are from Tyne and Fear. We've also been able to visit events such as like Mohawk Valley Cup, things like that. And I think, you know, given the diversity of the teams that will go to such events, they get to learn a lot of strategy in a short period of time. They take a lot of information home in just one weekend.
Yeah, I totally agree. I've been down that path, coaching a team where we go to these tournaments to what we bring back, not to go and wipe everybody out, because we're not going in with anything other than to learn, so we can add to our arsenal and our toolkit as we move along. And the penalties, speaking of toolkits, penalty-wise, D-Bots for Team USA is sitting on 5. The rest of the skaters on Team USA, other than McAfee, are less like 1, 2, or none. Binkley's sitting on 3 as well too. And over in England's side of the ledger, I see Ilbilly with 4, Giggity with 3, Shrooms with 3. Everyone pretty safe right now. No one's past that. You know, 1 or 2 skaters past that tipping point, but I've seen lots of skaters have 5 and then never get another penalty the rest of the game.
Right. We're not necessarily in any danger zones just yet, and that's always good to see.
Whistles were blown, but we're going to have a conversation for Earth as our head ref is having a quick chat with the coaches. This could be seating at the after party.
It could be. As I do a couple of shout outs really quick, I'd like to say hi to Guilty Nick Kilty watching from Seattle, Washington, and Boss Bear watching from England.
Well, I'm going to say hi to KWOW watching from Montreal. Shout out to the Skids. Shout out to TCRG in Vancouver. And you know what? A huge shout out to CRDA here in Calgary, but Chinook City Roller Derby. They're the volunteers behind this whole thing. They're putting in so many miles and hours. It's unbelievable. And none of you watching this see any of it. And those of you who've been to tournaments know exactly what I'm talking about. So just go out in the street and hug someone that you think was a volunteer once. Just to pay it forward. But make sure you know, make sure you introduce yourself first.
Right.
On the line, Reaper, number 666, up against, we got all 6s on the line. Jonathan R's got a 6 as well. Let's see if England can keep it slow to get things started here, and they're doing a good job of it, holding Jonathan R in that 3-pack. There's a trip and a fall, but it was a clean, and he's through for lead. England coming out of the gate with lead, exactly what they want to get back on that rhythm they had. Reaper already coming up for scoring. Jumps the apex, lands it, picks up 4 and calls it off. 5, pardon me, they still had him in the pack, that's correct.
Wow.
The number 6 for Team USA, Jonathan R, still held up in the pack on his initial. That was a 5-point apex jump. Well, that'll get you going. That'll get some attention from the bench. Well done. Sully 17 and Carter on the line for their respective groups.
That last jam is what I expected to see a little more when you said England was going to keep it slow. That's kind of more what I was expecting. So let's see how they have changed for this second half and adapted. Racing through, England is going to take lead. Jammer yet again. Sully zinging his way towards that pack. Carter is free and clear. Not lead jammer, of course. He's going to be coming along at a pretty good clip, but this pack is sped up pretty well. Quadzilla comes out to the front. It looks like he's trying to control pack speed. Ooh, wow. Takes a knock and just comes in for a pose. Nicely done. That was 4 points picked up by USA, 1 point picked up by England.
Yeah, I thought he picked up more than that. He got 1 at the back, but none on that jump.
Okay.
Because he got knocked out of bounds and couldn't stick the landing. You've got to put some wheels down in play before the rest of you isn't to stick that landing. I guess he didn't. Jay Woodward just kind of, I think I'll stand over here. And Sully was not landing that jump.
Smith taking the USA trying to plow his way through. Defenses are high in the front. England, they did chase him out that time.
A great star pass by England. No lead, but they've got the jammer at the back, and until they get lead, they can grab points here. And that's number 2, Shrooms, with the star on his helmet, so he's already getting points for England. USA wants to get out of this pack and call it off, or get out of this pack and score. He's looking at the bench. We're going to call it off.
Yeah, Smith comes right out, gets lead, calls it immediately. 2-point jam for England. Nothing picked up that time for USA. They're sitting 114 to 66.
Yeah, but 20 jams, 20 short jams of pass the star and 2-pointers, we have a tied game. Like it's a great way to mix things up and not show your opponent the same tactic every time. Have a few things ready to play out. That was a great star pass off the line, and the England feeling confident they can hold the U.S. jammers as they have today. Magnum steps through the first level into the second level, but it's number 5 for England, Fish, who's really pushing out at the front right now. Oh, throws a shoulder, but it's got lead. Team England coming out on fire in the second half. Well, they're still holding Magnum in the pack. Things are starting to break up, and that's what Magnum wants. He's twisting and turning, but Fish, meanwhile, is greeted by a 3-ball at the back of the pack. He's looking for some offense, and it's coming in the form of being pushed and breaking out those arms. The penalty to the pivot for England as he skates by us here, but it's Fish who gets passed and knocked out. Again, we still have a USA star pass to the pivot. That is number 3. That is Tony Muse, who's taken off with the star. So now we put some pressure on this English jammer to make a call, and he does. He calls it off, Fish. But that's more points for Team England. 5 points on the board for Team England, up to 71 points.
A rough jam for Team USA to get out of. 0 points picked up that time. They're fielding Austin. It's going to be up against Reaper.
Got a 3-pack for England, it looks like, with their pivot still in the box. So you can see Tony Muse up there in the pivot stripe, who's just going to run offense the entire time, and the jammer runs down the far side of lane 4, quickly comes out of the turn and has lead. Reaper's going to play a little bump and run, can't quite get him off the track, and now he's still behind that wall.
Austin trying to make his way through on his own through England's defenses. They're almost in out of play, have to let him go. 5 more points on the board for USA. Reaper comes through on his initials. He's going to be coming in momentarily on his first scoring pass. Austin comes up, meets the back of the pack, bounces off them, bounces to the outside, and calls it off.
5 points for USA, takes them up to 119. England at 71. Very, very much a close game here as we chip the first 5 minutes of the second half away. Men's World Cup defending champions in white, USA. And somebody has something to say about it in red. It's England, and that's Sully, 17, with Jonathan R. right in front of him. Little stall and wait here on the jammers. We'll have a little jammer dance. And Jonathan R. delivers them to the wall, and they shove him out on that side there. Quickly back in the inside, though. Sully making lots of moves at the front. Suddenly he's in a position to push them out of play. Sully goes and picks up lead for Team England. Jonathan R. battling that 4-pack at the back of the English wall and blockers here, but it's Sully on a scoring pass, does a spin in turn 1, picks up the 5 points because Jonathan R. is still there with the star in his hand.
Woodward and McAfee trying to break up the defenses England have set up.
A power jam, actually. Jonathan R. picking up a blocking with the head, and he's skating with that star in his hand to the penalty box. And until he sits down, that 30 seconds doesn't start. So now we have 30 seconds of opportunity for Team England to continue to add on to this 10-point jam for Sully.
Got all of Team England towards the back there. McAfee alone trying to hold back their jammer, not quite capable of doing so. Now we've got Quadzilla coming in, trying to mow through England's defenses. Just trying to break him up. It is going to send Quadzilla back to the box.
Jonathan R. out of the box with the star in his hand. Just not getting any any relief from that red wall that's been holding him back.
Not. That is giggity, spectral. And friends linked up. It was 4. They are down to 3 right now. Sully comes up and in there. He's now going to be battling it out with USA's defense. He's just going to go ahead and call it off. It looked to be an incredibly tiring jam for both jammers. We're going to see a little bit of instant replay.
Sully coming back in. This is where he gets lead because he cuts down the inside, and now he's got separation in that front wall.
Yep.
And he'll duck down here and take the outside right, and that's just exactly how it happened.
True story.
That was the fastest instant replay ever. Thanks, guys. That was good. It's great to have instant replay. We are spoiled rotten by the production crew here. They're doing a great job.
Something I'm noticing on the Twitter feed is coaching advice. Captain Malice thinks that Piston should be jammed. Max thinks that Spectral should be jammed. I know they were talking about jamming Spectral every jam. I'll pass it on to the coaches in the meantime. Number 10 from USA headed to the box. That means a roller derby athletics power jam in favor of Team England.
And that was 101 for Team England. Blitzkrieg, who had the star in his head, took it off, takes it off again, just in case he wants to put the pivot in action, because now it forces Team USA blockers to make a decision. Fake the pass, give it to the pivot. He still has it in his hand. He's going to put it back on. Maybe he's recognized now the benches or the pack's letting him know that it's a power jam. They just want to get him out.
Right, yeah. I mean, I believe lead is still open, so he does get out successfully, having not passed that star. He could have control of the jam. He could pass it off and could go the whole 2 minutes.
And that power jam is over. Carter quickly back on the track, and he's already fighting at the front, and he's through and out. So there's no lead in this jam. We're going to skate this whole thing out. We've got a minute to go yet. This could be a risky situation for England as well, too. As his packs are starting to swirl, and that ground and pound game they had going so well was working for him, slipping a little bit here.
5 more points picked up by USA. Godzilla taking a little spill in the middle of the pack. Coming through to break up defenses for his jammer, Carter. Carter takes to the outside, gets through. Another 5 points for USA.
That was Piston Broke heading to the box for Team England. And that little spill was a massive hit down that inside straightaway as well. But he's out now. Star in hand, passed off to the pivot, number 2, Shrooms. Shrooms going to put that on, makes himself legal to score, but Carter picking up points here again. We've got moving packs and no time to set those walls. As this jam gets in the last 10 seconds, there's still time for Shrooms to get some points here, but now they got to contend with Carter. Gets bumped out, safely skates back, sees that they've got their points. I've got 19 points. I don't need to risk a quick entry.
Right.
I want to get a jammer out for the next jam. A 19-1 jam. Things kind of went a little sideways on that jam. 20-2 jam, never mind.
Oh, no, it says 20-1. Everything's so confusing. There is a team timeout brought to you by Quad Skate Shop.
S1.
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 S1. S1 is part of my uniform.
A clear path through the pack almost never exists. So we fight and make our own.
The Men's Roller Derby World Cup would like to acknowledge the contributions of Alberta Sports Connection, which helped to make this event possible. Alberta Sports Connection. Also, Mary Chaos, be harder, better, faster, stronger with one-on-one coaching from Derbalife and Chaos Theory. New Derbalife Transformation Challenge starting on August 8th. Visit chaostheoryblog.com for more details. And it's great to see we're getting some feedback out there from listener land that we know people are watching everywhere. Send us your love and your critiques and tell us what we're doing wrong. We appreciate that.
Being nice is super in fashion right now, just so you kids know.
Fish out there, recycled to the back of the pack for Team England. Can't catch the jammer. Have you got the jammer for Team USA, Julio?
It is Smith zing along towards that pack. They are ready for him.
Fish has taken that star off, hasn't passed to the pivot yet. Interesting tactic though, they keep the pivot in range
to
create that that opportunity.
I've seen them whip it over like they're going to give it to him, or maybe like to kind of fake out that they've given it to him, because they don't always give it to him. Like generally when I see them whip it like that, it's exaggerated and they don't actually do it. Fish is through.
Forearm penalty on Woodward, penalty on Ackles, another penalty on 1283. That is, oh, sorry, my error. Spectral, apologies. Just suddenly at the end of that jam, 3 people went by in a mad rush, all blockers heading to the box. As Magnum and Reaper have a chat about 20 feet behind, about 10 or 12 feet behind the jam line. You can just see them to the right of the screen there. And then everyone inches up to that jam line, packed as well. That's the whistle to get things started. And they're fighting a 2-wall at the front. Big opportunity here. Reaper's had a lot of success. He's going to force this 2-wall forward, hopefully to drop someone to bridge. Right now he's not having that much success. He's got Quadzilla, and it looks like Percy Control and lead is grabbed by Team England.
Sorry. Get excited when Jammers get out. Hot on his heels though, USA Jammer is in behind him. He knows that. Reaper calls it off right into the pack. There's 4 points picked up by England, 3 points by USA. Bringing England up right on the 100 mark.
And I'm going to go out on another one of my limbs I've gone out on this weekend and say that England has scored the most points against Team USA. First of any team in this tournament. Let me check the stats. And it looks like anyone this year, and maybe last year as well too. Like they're setting new ground here. It's a 48-point game with 18 minutes to remain.
So number 17, Sully, trying to juke his way. Ooh, wow. Trying to juke his way around, taking a huge hit, knocking him down to the inside. He's going to come in back at the pack. In the meantime, Austin is getting through England's defenses. He's spinning around, trying to find any place he could possibly make his way through. He is now through. USA takes lead Jammer status. Sully is still trying to make his way through. He gets knocked out to the outside. He's going to come in back behind Tony Muse and Quadzilla. He does have Star in hand once again. His pivot is nearby. 5 more points on the board for USA, already bringing him up.
Cut on Sully. Just caught it out of the corner of my eye. 2468 D-Bots did an amazing job of pushing him out and running back on him. And the USA has a power jam with number 9 Austin on the track, coming in with speed right now on your screen. We'll watch the USA attack this English wall, breaking him up, keeping everybody busy, giving Austin the room he needs to work with. He takes 5 and calls it.
10-point jam, bringing him up 163 to 100. It's like to see a little bit of instant replay there. You see Sully trying to get past Tony Muse, and Bots not quite capable of doing so. He steps to the outside, comes into the inside. Bots has complete control of him in this case. Takes him out, out, out. Doesn't.
The lateral footwork is amazing.
Yeah.
It is just incredible, that lateral footwork, because especially when your back is to a jammer, you have one less beat than the jammer. Jammer knows who's going. I have to guess where you're going.
Right.
So I always have that one moment of opportunity, but that lateral movement is so fast and so good. And a stoppage on the track. It's not, oh, we're just doing some repair. Oh, we're checking in. Checking in with the skater. Looks like Sully in the box there.
He took a pretty significant hit. The way his body fell, it was just, yeah.
I heard that from here. There was a heavy contact.
Yeah, there was that knock to the inside.
The Men's Roller Derby Association is excited to announce that its 2016 championships will be held in Texas. The Lone Star Showdown will be held at the NYTEX Sports Center in beautiful North Richard Hills, Texas on October 15th and 16th, and will be hosted by Texas Men's Roller Derby. This 2-day single-track event will feature the top 10 ranked MRDA teams as determined by the MRDA. Visit champs.mrda.org for more information. Sully still being attended to. Looks like he's being switched out. So the nature of the injury, I actually saw him looking at his thumb, and I see, looks like I can't tell if they're untaping or taping his wrist guard, but you can just catch it. You can't quite catch it on camera. but he's fine, but it looks like they're taping him up. He might have jammed his thumb. Now that fall on that cement was a hard fall and a quick fall. I think they're just checking to see if he's going to continue or they're going to switch him out because he needs to receive medical attention. Our head ref's making sure from a safety standpoint, as he should. And it says he's okay to go, so Sully is going to go. England taking half the lead jams of the second half. There's been 10 leads and England's captured 5 of them, so, and 100 points. 163 to 100 as we get jam number 16 underway. That's Jonathan R. standing by himself because Sully's got his taped up hand waiting in the penalty box to serve his time. So this is a roller derby athletics power jam. Jonathan R. twists and turn at the front of the pack. Picks up a penalty. It's a cut. Jonathan R. gets a cut and Sully's already standing, which means that shared time is going to be a little bit longer for Jonathan R., giving Sully an opportunity. And taped hand or not, Sully just bursts through that wall in that corner, picks up lead for England, and is already quickly around for scoring position. England holding Percy control at the back and does well, capturing his point there. Big knockout at the front of the wall, though.
McAfee up front, trying to control the pack the best he can. Sully's going to come through, gets knocked to the inside, comes back behind. These players are ready to try to break up USA's defenses for him. It's hard to do, so to say the very least. Up front, lastly, Percy control and Streak waiting for him. Percy knocks him into the inside, receives a penalty for illegal contact with the elbows. Still going to cause him to have to re-enter towards the back. Ooh. Huge spill there. Hopefully he looks fine from it. A low block penalty is being called on number 19, Streak. She's going to be headed off to the box. Sully re-entering, gets knocked out to the outside. Calls it off. 0 points picked up for USA.
Scrambly jam there, and I'll tell you one thing, Sully took a beating in that jam, let alone the bounce around he took before the jam that he needed attention for. But he was down on his face a couple times, but gets up so quick and keeps running, but drew a lot of penalties. Put some blockers on the box, that's always a good thing.
Definitely.
3 points.
Sure.
Team USA only with 2 skaters on the track, so another big opportunity here is 900. That's Giggity. Has the star, but unfortunately, small pack making quick work of it is lead, and that's for Carter. In white number 10, he's already there, jumps the apex. Airborne Carter goes through and grabs his points.
McAfee and Percy control on the floor for USA right now as their jammer re-enters. England with all of their blockers out there ready for him. Percy control tries to knock the England jammer into the inside as he comes through, is not successful in doing so. That is 4 more points on that last pass. What do we got on this one?
Giggity. We're going to get this jump from Carter or Giggity. We'll see what we get here. This is going to be Carter's jump. Watch the airborne coming up on your left of the screen. He's going to come in really quick and stick this landing. Up he goes, misses that block, lands his skates and just keeps running. Doesn't even still in a crouch position. He lands and runs down the track. But Giggity decided to do the same and picked up a jump as well too later on that jam. So it's 170-118, USA leading, just over 12 minutes to go.
Smith starts off kind of defensively and then decides to give it away. There is a star stash?
No, the star fell off. It's sitting on the straightaway. That's all right. I just captured it because it's off screen. But the U.S. jammer, who's now going to the box for a penalty, Smith, his star is sitting in the middle of the track on the opposite straightaway. And penalties are now piling up on Team USA. And that's number 5 for England, Fish, who's out for lead. And with these small packs, here comes some opportunity to score more points. Already at 123, already with 5 on this jam. Fish.
Bouncing through that pack to join with the rest of his wall up front. Nicely done. So knocking through the defenses with Muse trying to keep the pack broken up. In the meantime, England scores another 4 points. Currently a 9-point jam. Up to 127 to USA's 170. USA still hasn't picked anything up in this jam. The star has been reattached to helmet.
Smith has it on.
Yes.
Got a low block call on Smith. Another power jam. Misconduct. Misconduct call on Smith.
Indeed.
That puts Fish at the front of the pack to get more points. We got a low block call on number 3, Tony Muse, shrinking that pack again, getting Team England to a point where they can grab more points. So this is a 14-point jam. The largest one today was 20. 21? Largest was 22, and they're already at 14 with 20 seconds to go. Here comes another pass, an opportunity to grab more points. Seeing that Smith is standing in the penalty box, time is not on his side. He's got a quick lap around, 2 blockers to beat here as Fish is pushing out at the front. Slow and heavy, it's the going right now. Oh, Smith, a beautiful drop. Just dropped his left shoulder to his knee and slid by to steal some points at the very end there for Team USA.
Sutton came in to aid his jammer at that last minute. Nothing picked up this time for USA. A 17-point jam for England, bringing them up 135, USA 170. About 10.5 minutes left in this exciting game.
Quad Skate Shop, because we love this game. Quad is Europe's original brick and mortar roller derby skate shop with the best selection and most stock on the continent. We know skates, so you don't have to. Our customer service is the best on a level that only fellow skaters could provide. Come see us online or in store for all your derby needs. Hashtag Quad Berlin.
Reaper taking the star for England. He is through. Lead jammer status to England. They are on a power jam right this moment. It is a blocking to the head, assessed to Magnum. He's going to take a seat in the box just now. In the meantime, Reaper is facing off against Quadzilla. I believe Jake Woodward up front. He does get knocked to the outside. He's going to come back. The pack is at a standstill though, so at least he's not having to chase the bridge backwards.
Needing some offense for him right now to take advantage of these 30 seconds, and here it comes. England's going to try and keep Team USA busy as Reaper and the pack skates down the straightaway into turn 3 and 4, just near our location here. Reaper pushed out, heads back, looks at the bench and calls it off. Keeping the US jammer in the box. We've got a replay here to share with you. And it's Reaper on this lead, I believe, when he comes through. Lateral, lateral, lateral. Constantly digging, getting down low. Look at that head work up top. I mean, it's all in his legs that's doing it, but he's deking so much. And
this last knockout by Woodward.
Really well done. And hey, jammers, did you notice that English jammer stopped, straddled the line, looked around first, and then skated back? Because had someone fallen down, he could have re-entered legally and kept going.
Definitely. With the jam underway, Magnum is back on the track. Your jammer for USA is 17 Sully for England. He gets knocked into the inside. He's going to have to come at the back.
Quadzilla heading off for USA with a back block.
Magnum's going to take lead jammer status for USA.
Also Sutton Impact and Tom Banks heading to the box for England on penalties as the packs are getting smaller.
We've got 2 English blockers on the track. Magnum still pushing, trying to get past Shrooms, who has quite a bit of height on him at the very least.
And got a cut penalty on Sully, who's heading to the box. England now handing the power jams over to Team USA. Magnum looks at the bench and calls it off. I can see Quadzilla in the penalty box saying, 3 more seconds, and get back.
Wait, friends.
Wait, I want to come and play.
This is a 5-point jam for USA. Nothing picked up that time for England.
175 to 39. 36-point game, under 8 minutes remaining. An amazing, amazing game here today for this World Cup final. The number of leads England's got in the second half is outstanding. Just whatever they adjusted. Oh,
wow.
Carter jumps through that apex, takes lead. Took a hard landing, but got the lead.
We do have a very small back for England, although Shrooms is coming back. So we do have 3 blockers on the floor. Carter gets past them. Nearly. Oh no. Knocked out of bounds illegally, so he comes back in. That is 5 more points on the board for USA.
I believe that was just out of play. That was a fantastic hit. That was a totally clean, legal hit. Just too far on the edge of that zone. Well, that would be a penalty as a coach I like taking. Carter forced to the back of the pack.
Sully leaving a star in hand. These 4 more points picked up by Carter for USA as he comes back in the pack. Quadzilla is just going crazy, knocking people out. He comes back in, joins up with his teammates to prepare for Carter's entrance into the pack. Sully does actually pass off the star to number 7, Tom Banks. Tom having a heck of a time getting past Woodward right now. Tony Muse joins him just to make sure everything's all right. Does get knocked out to the outside. Woodward keeping the pack moving. That's something you notice, the kind of swarming pack. Hopefully leaving the area for their jammer to come through. Tom Banks is through on his initial, going to be coming in for a scoring pass momentarily. In the meantime, 5 points on the board for USA, a 24-point jam. There's a little bit of replay.
Carter swings around here. This is that out-of-play hit. Gets turned around, balancing on one foot, steeps himself in bounds. He's still in bounds and takes the huge hit. But that hand up on the referee and that judo chop motion means out of play. Had that been 1 foot, 1 moment earlier, it was a completely clean, awesome hit. Great hit. And a penalty I like, just because that hit needed to happen. That was great. And Carter recovered instantly.
Fish donning the star for England. Austin for USA. Fish getting knocked out lastly by Percy Control, who's going to recycle him back. Austin mashing up against England's blockers in the front. Fish doing the same towards the back, except keeps being forced out. Whereas...
And a penalty. As blocking with the head penalty on Austin. Here's an English power jam. USA handing out a lot of power jams this half, more than I've seen before. Tony Muse has knocked to the outside, not re-entering the track right now. And finally, out with lead for England in red. That is number 5, Fish, skating into this pack now. They've got pack advantage with some blockers, one in the infield waiting to return. McAfee, so the other 3 blockers are on their own holding Fish. Fish gets bumped out to the inside. He's going to try to go through again.
Percy Control has done an excellent job of controlling the jammer, especially in this jam, knocked him out to the outside, keeping him on the inside.
The one-on-one control that Percy's shown at times from the front to the back of the pack is outstanding.
Definitely.
Just a single person blocking skill set is unbelievable, let alone when they get together.
So we've got this 3-wall kind of in the middle controlled by McAfee. Holding Fish back as best they can. It's stretching the pack out. They do come back, try to keep kind of bridge work going. They knock him into the inside. Tony Muse last to hit. McAfee taking the back as far back as he can legally. Allows Austin to come through on his initial. Be coming in for a scoring pass momentarily until unless Fish calls it off, which he does. That is 4 points for England. Nothing picks up that time for USA.
That was a hard 4 points.
Woo!
Team USA getting into some penalty trouble swirl there for a bit, and England taking advantage of it. Clearly more power jams, I think, for Team England this half.
Yeah, definitely.
194-143, 51-point game. Reaper on the line. That's Jonathan R., who's already leapt into the second level of and picks up a penalty and a back block. Another U.S. jammer penalty. Jonathan R. going for a back block. That leaves Reaper in a power jam position. Quadzilla still out there from the last jam, blocking for Team USA.
Quadzilla effective at breaking up defenses. He does knock himself a bit to the inside, bouncing off these skaters. 5:15 from England. Piston broke. He's trying to keep him away, but it looks like Reaper is headed off to the box for a track cut. So this is going to be now a jammer switcheroo and a power jam in favor of Team USA. Jonathan R. approaching the back of the pack. England up front. They've got their 3 and 1 extra blocker, now into a 4-wall, now into a 2-wall. I like the fluidity of their walls. They can lose one, pick one up. It's very nice.
Turns and resets. Reaper in the background skating onto the track now. They're going to run this whole jam out as a multiplayer block on number 515. Piston broke. Reaper's contacting the wall now. We've got over a minute left. Oh, he just skated into the track and picked up possibly another cut, and he did. Unfortunate cut. Came down hard on his ankle. Reaper's checking with the referee, and we're stopping the jam. EMT's going to check in on Reaper. Yeah, it looks, he just came down a little funny. He had to stop the jam there before he got up. EMT's going to check on him. We'll be right back after this.
Just go to any game and you're like, oh, yeah, this is why I do this. I skate for the Linden Roller Girls, and S1 is part of my uniform.
A clear path through the pack almost never exists. So we fight and make our own.
Back of the track here. The referees, we got Reaper over in the EMT area being taken care of, skated over on his own power. He'll have to sit out the next 3 jams, unfortunately, and with only a minute and 30 seconds left in this game, it's unlikely we're going to see Reaper back on the track, and he's been a prolific jammer for Team England.
Definitely. Looking at our Twitter feed, Dick DeFone appears to be having deja vu back to Dallas for the Blood and Thunder Women's Roller Derby World Cup. Everyone else is having the same deja vu, sir.
Deja vu all over again.
Just keeps happening. Also, in that same vein, Deadwords said she was going to watch USA versus England in the background, but England has given the USA a run for their money. I couldn't agree more. This is an exciting game. We don't have a particularly large point spread. Not a blowout or anything near that. So it's always good to see.
And also holding USA to probably the lowest score in a game they've had in a while, too, at 199 points.
Certainly. The 2016 Men's Roller Derby World Cup is sanctioned and insured by Roller Sports Canada, providing insurance and support for all Canadian roller sports. Visit us at www.rollersports.ca or on Facebook at RSC Roller Derby.
In the background, you can see the English line caller using her clipboard to fan the members of the bench there to cool them off. Lowest USA score was 217 points, and the most scored by an opponent was 117 versus Canada, and England has now passed that point, and the lowest differential was 180, which we are far within. We are 56-point differential. England stepping into new ground, but also it's the parity of what we saw this weekend too as well. Teams that last year couldn't put points on the board have come back from multiple countries, scoring points and moving up in their rankings. So similar to the World Cups I've been to, the bar keeps moving closer and the talent and the skill levels keeps rising from the other parts of the world.
Well, what I felt last in 2014 at the Men's World Cup was that, like I mentioned before, people are really learning a lot from playing such a diverse crowd, since you've got international skaters and stuff like that with a lot of different backgrounds. I think that spurs people on. It makes them want to come back and makes them want to improve. And you've seen so much improvement this weekend, as you mentioned.
And just to give you a sense of this second half, if we just counted the points in the second half, the score would be 89-80 for the USA. There's a 9-point differential in the second half alone. Again, just a level that England is playing at. But right now it's number 7 out there with lead for Team USA, and that's Magnum.
So he's coming in. We've just got 2 Team England blockers on the track. Magnum zings right by McAfee et al., keeping those 2 blockers distracted. Ackles up front, knocking them around, keeping them busy as the jammer comes through. I think that's the key here. Now it does look like Magnum is going to have to face off against these 2 blockers on his own. McAfee concentrating on the now inbounds. I think it was Fish, was it not?
Piston broke, unfortunately, just came
5.
back on the track, got bumped out, got a cut, went right back to the penalty box. Really just an unfortunate series of events there for him. Trying desperately to stay in bounds so he can join his teammates up front. That 3-wall in red is now getting broken up from every direction. And a fantastic job at the back of the pack to knock the jammer out. Magnum.
McAfee off for, I believe, a direction of gameplay call. This power jam is finished. Sully back in play, trying to wrestle his way past the front of USA's defenses, not quite able to do so. Gets into the inside, is going to bring himself back now, facing off against Percy Control, trying to keep Shrooms out of bounds, so England again is distracted and low on blockers. Tactic is going to right. Magnum waits until he's right on his heels, taps his hips. We are out of time, so our unofficial final is going to be 212 to 143.
212 to 143. So a champion retains its title, but many records have fallen today. Definitely. Unbelievably, lowest score the USA was ever held to has now been beaten by England. 212 is the new number. Then the highest opponent that's ever scored against them was 117 versus Canada. That's been broken. It's now 143. But the biggest one for me is the score differential. This is the smallest score differential. When their closest differential was 180, and now it's down to 69 points. Outstanding. That's a third of those points. The work out there that England did, you can't see them on the screen, but they're huddled up because they should be celebrating. The way they played today, the bar has been set and changed in men's roller derby.
Just amazing play after amazing play. This score is now finalized. USA at 212, England at 143. You see USA there celebrating, absolutely thrilled to retain their title.
Yeah, they were not, when I talked to the coach, they were not taking this lightly at all. They didn't come in just to expect to beat everyone. They had a game plan every game. The 30-minute games for seeding had a game plan. They had levels they wanted to achieve to get to this game. When I talked to the coach, they said they were working on things in the Australia game for this game. So there was always a plan in place with this team. They were not taking any team for granted, and clearly Team England has shown that they can't be taken for granted. Another power on the other side of the ocean shows up in roller derby as the sport truly becomes an international world event that it should be here at Men's Roller Derby World Cup 2016. Some incredible play out there today as well, too. I mean, we can't say enough about pick a person. You know what? I'm going to say enough because everyone out there just left it all on the track, and there's no one individual skater. That was a team. That was a gutted-out team performance by England. And that's the only way you could play at this level is you must have that full team game going.
And this is one of the few bouts that consistently I saw them play their full roster, or the full 14. And so, yeah, and for every one of them to have such commendable effort,
no, that's
blocking and jamming.
That's a great point, because you know in those earlier games you bring 20 skaters, you're mixing your roster, but you have a roster as you get closer to that game that you sink in and you stay with.
Yeah,
and Team USA played that whole bench today. Everyone felt that game.
Definitely, yeah. By the end of the weekend, you have an idea, especially when you get to witness the other team's things. You know which of your skaters are going to be best in this situation, and it was just a beautiful thing to see here. We hope you enjoyed it as much as we did.
It was a wonderful thing to see and watch. Julia Caesar. Sleazer.
Caesar's out on the track.
No, Caesars are later tomorrow morning after brunch.
Oh, it's Caesar that's out on the track. My bad. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Hail Sleazer. Thank you. That was a blast.
Flattery will get you everywhere.
Yeah.
I'd like to thank everyone for tuning in. We hope you've enjoyed these 4 days of some of the hardest hitting games you're going to see this year.
I'm spent, and we just sat here and talked.
Yeah.
It was incredible. I've learned things. I can tell you as a coach what I saw, some of the stuff that went on in here. Amazing play going on out there that I've got takeaways to build into some training and coaching. Like, it's amazing what I saw.
Okay, so we are going to wrap it up. I am Julia Sleazer.
I'm Mac the Mouth.
And we are going to throw to Panda in the panel.
Thanks, Lisa, Mike, and Sven on the feed there, handing back to the C2 studio live from the very final game of the Men's Roller Derby World Cup 2016. We have the USA victorious once again, but what a fight Team England put up?
Oh yeah. You know, you take a look at something like this, Panda, and you think if it's a series 2 out of 3, you just don't know what the outcome is. I'll admit, I'm surprised, and I'm only surprised because the U.S. didn't see more of a challenge from a handful of the top 4, 5, 6 teams earlier in play, but I'll tell you, England, they just came at it, and I'll stick to my story from the first half. It was capitalizing on mistakes.
Yeah.
We saw big streaks. We'd see 20-point jams. We'd see 19-point jams to nothing. I think in the end, the U.S. just caught 1 or 2 more breaks and took advantage of it.
Absolutely. So apart from this game, the highest points scored against the USA was with Team Canada with 117 on the board. The smallest point differential was this game, so 212 to 143. We got a 69-point differential. An incredible game, I think, for a lot of the guys. I think particularly Fish stood out for me as a strong jumper.
Yeah, I thought Sully had a pretty good game too.
Yeah, Magnum for Team USA.
Yep.
And I think we tend to see the same names in Team USA. There is an expectation with them because we've seen them around for such a long time, and they've been at this, and they've been training and skating with their respective leagues for a lot longer. And I think this is where we get the experience coming through. They have more of an opportunity to play in the top flight.
Well, I definitely agree with you that there is a core of guys that are the same. Jeremy Strecker, Tony Muse, TJ Binkley, and 1 or 2 more, Jonathan R., 1 or 2 more. But you know, we saw big things out of Carter. We saw Ken Austin come out and do some. Come out when they needed him to do something big and pull 20 points off of that. We saw a handful of blockers in there that had not played previously in World Cup play. But I think that just speaks to the expansion of the MRDA over the last couple of years, even within the United States. I don't think people realize that at the last World Cup, you know, the MRDA was potentially like 20 teams or something like that.
It's phenomenal. The size of it is just, I mean, you've got so many teams from Europe coming out across to play over in the States as well. And a lot of the guys on Team England as well now have that experience of that top flight play outside of the World Cup and these different championships that we have. So if we go to the graphic that we have, we'll be able to give you an update for the rankings throughout the tournament. So we have, I'll start from 20, we'll work our way back. So Team Netherlands placed 20th and they placed 11th last year. Team Spain 19th, and we didn't even see them at all last time around. Team Chile 18th, we didn't see them last time around either. Team Japan 17th. They were,
which is actually an improvement for them. That's 2 victories.
Yes.
And we have to remember we only had a 15-team field before.
Absolutely. So they were 15th previously. Puerto Rico in 16, Italy in 15. Again, 2 teams that we haven't seen here previously. In 14th is Team Germany. They came 11th last time. Team Ireland in 13th and 10th last time. Belgium in 12th, they were 13th last time. Sweden in 11th, they were 14th last time. Scotland, who were 8th last time around, taking 10th place. And Mexico just blowing everybody's expectations out of the water and taking 9th place.
For those teams that didn't make it into the knockout phase, Mexico had a lot to do with that. And unfortunately, they lost 2 critical games against 2 top 4 teams by like 35 points.
Okay, so we're going to throw across the track for our closing ceremony, and we will be back here before we leave for the day.
That's right. We got Stay Puffed out there.